Let's do this.
Yay.
Hello. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Dear Becky and Lizzy.
Oh, look how you did that. Oh, she's so smart. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in relatively chilly and not clear Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
I had to go to the bank and the paint shop and all kinds of stuff, and we painted again last night. So we're gonna do a short Dear Becky and Lizzy today because we have to open up the shop in like 25 minutes. So we love you all. Sorry this is shorter. Sorry there's no knit night tomorrow night. Apologies, but we have stuff to do. But we're very
painting.
Excited.
Yay!
We're very excited. Yes, we're painting again tonight. We're very excited with how it's going and how it's going to look, and everything. It's so exciting. So what do we got?
This was from last week. Actually, yeah. Anyway.
Words!
Liz, can you briefly demo the process of working 2 at a time with an extra set of needles like you are doing with your sleeves? Thanks again, lazy knitter.
Okay, so by extra set of needles, I think she means 2 circulars would be how I officially call it. Do you actually want to knit across them? Do we have time for that? I know it's not a lot of stitches.
I could.
I just don't want to rush you.
Yeah.
But can we hold up and demonstrate how this looks and everything? So,
I'm gonna
I'll Vanna White.
I'll let you hold up because I know what.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're gonna want you have a better time of describing things than I do. So, because I'll be like, yeah, this one's on the back and this one's on the front, and do that. Yay!
Okay. So, but that's true. So we have 2 sleeves that are divided. The stitches are divided in half, and half of the stitches of one sleeve are on needle A here, and half of the stitches. So let's call this sleeve 1 and sleeve 2. And I'm trying to think of what words make it. Okay. We have needle 1 is in the front and needle 2 is in the back. And the sleeve closer to you is sleeve A, and the sleeve closer to me is sleeve B. So needle 1 holds half of sleeve A stitches and half of sleeve B stitches. And needle 2 holds half of sleeve B stitches and half of sleeve A stitches. So like if we hold it like this, ta-da! And if you look, the yarn, so we've got 2 balls. These are going to separate balls of yarn, but the yarn is in the same place on both sleeves. It's at the end of these set of stitches on needle 2. So sleeve B.
I've gone from the armpit to the top of the sleeve on the last row, and now I'll work my way down.
That's the most important thing about doing them 2 at a time that I was telling my lesson is the sleeves need to be oriented on the needles the same direction. So it's not like this with needle 1 coming down and going up and needle 2 going down and coming up. It's like you think about your sleeves going like this. So it goes from the armpit up, and the same needle then hits the next sleeve, goes armpit up off the side, the same side of, like, around, if you were looking straight at the hole for the sleeve, it's going straight up as you look at it from the armpit up the left side for needle 1, let's say, and then down for needle 2. I might have flipped the needles at the moment from what I just held up, but
so what I do
excuse me,
or what you do when you get ready to knit is I'm taking the needle that's on the side that I need to knit,
which is not the side where the yarn is attached right now. The other side is what needs to be knit now.
And I am just using the needle on that side. I'm not using the needle in the back.
And what I had a knitter come in yesterday, and what was really great to help her keep track, she had end stoppers on each needle, and like one was orange on either end and one was green on either end. So it was like, okay, now I need to use the both ends of the green needle, and the orange one we forget about.
And I just, oops, gotta pick grass out. I'm just knitting across with the first sleeve. And the back needles kind of, you know, sometimes I just move them out of the way. And
but yeah, she's going to knit across sleeve B right now with the yarn that's closer to the tip. It's the only direction she can go. And when she gets across that, she will switch both sleeves and balls of yarn. And we'll show you that when we get there. But yeah, I find if you're doing sleeves that don't have complication in them, like two yarns held together or color work or things like that, this can be a great way to make sure your sleeves come out the same length. Once you set them up, you just go across one, across the other, turn around, across the other, across one. So she's just hit the end. Hold it up just a little bit, maybe.
I've hit the end. I'm going to drop that yarn, slide that sleeve down, push the second sleeve up, pick up the new working yarn, which is on that sleeve, making sure there's no yarn in between the two.
Yes, we don't want to knit straight through and connect the sleeves.
Yep. And then start knitting.
So now she's knitting sleeve A with the yarn that's for sleeve A. And when she gets to the end of this side, then she'll switch to the totally other needle. So she'll actually be knitting on the second half of sleeve A, which is the one she's doing right now, which if that doesn't make logical sense to your brain when you do it, sometimes doing it helps it make sense. But she'll keep knitting around the other side of the same sleeve, but then when she gets to the halfway point, she'll drop the yarn and pick up the yarn for the sleeve B. So she went sleeve B, sleeve A, half of the stitches. Then she's going to do sleeve A, sleeve B, and then sleeve B, sleeve A. Kind of when you go around 4 different pieces of knitting, you've done a round on each sleeve.
So
okay, so she just finished knitting across one side of one half of both sleeves.
Yep.
And now you're going to flip around. If you want to just show the start of the next side.
I flip it around.
And now things look just like they did when she started the other one.
Yep.
So it can be really helpful to mark like where your beginning of round is. Usually that's the armpit.
Yeah, I have a stitch marker at the armpit.
Mm-hmm. So right now she's about to start a new round, but it looks just like what she just did.
Yep.
So it's really helpful to mark when you finished a round. How to know when you finished a round so you don't get lost.
Yeah, I mark both sleeves.
Yes.
Because if I take the sleeves off to try it on and I put them back on, I know where the armpit is for both sleeves.
And that travels with you as you go because you've marked one stitch in on one side.
Yeah.
Another way to do it, if that's going to throw you off on where the beginning of round is to do a progress keeper underneath in the fabric is another way to do it. So awesome.
That's that.
And we'd love to show you more, but we also only have 15 minutes left.
Do you have a video on that on your Tips and Tricks channel?
I have on my Tips and Tricks. I have an older video I made on how to knit on 2 circulars. It's not 2 at a time on 2 circulars, but I do have. I have a video on knitting with 2 circulars, and I have a video that's the full-fledged how to knit 2 at a time sleeves on 2 circulars from soup to nuts, like from starting it in one version of starting it, and the pictures of how to set it up. And then I believe later in that video I do show knitting across them and knitting back like you just did.
Okay.
So yes,
I'm gonna let you read.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna knit.
Okay. Liz and Rebecca, I've been working on my colorwork sweater and had never heard about dominant color staying in the left hand. Wow, it has made a world of difference. So now I'm curious, how does the dominant color work if you're working a flat piece, for example, a shawl? Does it switch to the right hand on the wrong side? I'm curious. That's a really good question. one of the ways that I would try to analyze that, instead of which hand should it be in, I don't do a lot of flat color work personally. But from what my brain can suss out of what's going on, like left versus right, if you're holding it in two hands, what's happening, and the way I teach, if you're only holding it in one hand, to replicate what happens when you're holding the yarn in two hands, is the one in your left hand is always coming from, like, when the floats, one goes under and one comes over in terms of how the yarns are navigating around each other. And the keeping the dominant color, the one you want to pop, the contrast, the one that's doing the detail work, in your left hand on a row that's going across the right side row, is what's in your left hand is coming from underneath, and what's in your right hand, the background color, is coming over the top. So when you turn around to go backwards, and if you are holding them in two hands and purling, there's still, you still want to keep them in the left and right hand, because when I'm visually trying to think about how that's going to work, or you may do it differently, but I'm still thinking about the purling, and my right hand, I'm still going to have the yarn coming over the top when I'm purling, and my left hand, I'm still potentially going to have it, because it's coming over here and going over to purl, it's still, the floats will still go underneath. That's the most important thing, I think, is the floats should be staying on the underside.
The floats of your dominant color.
The floats of your pop color, yes, of your dominant contrast color, should be going underneath. And again, it's not going to be like huge. It's, that's why we don't want to keep twisting things, is that's going to change how the colors pop. But you want, as you're working across the back, you want to make sure, so if you were dropping and picking up, you want to make sure that your background color is going over the top, not of the top of your needle this way, but over, like, let your contrast color just hang and bring your background color over it. And then let your, when you're purling, let your background color kind of hang off to the right, so you can pick up your dominant color, your contrast color, from the left to go. So you still want the left-right thing. I wouldn't change hands. I would think about, though, how your yarns are crossing, or where they're positioned. Do you want the one that's not going to pop as much to be higher, and the one that is going to pop to be lower? That's my best answer on that. So that's the theoretical knitting again, because I haven't really done that.
Okay, next question. Hi, Liz and Rebecca. I watched the VSC today and noted it was when we did the alpaca. So last week.
Yes.
And noted your comment about alpaca not being good for sweaters. I have a lot of it and was planning to make the cable guy tunic sweater from and hold Jameson's Shetland 4-ply with it. Do you think the combo would provide enough structure? And if not, for the long tunic sweater, for a shorter sweater, or for a cardigan in pieces? By the way, I prefer top down. Thanks.
If you're planning on holding a strand of 100% wool with your alpaca, that provides the structure, in my opinion. That's the same as the ultra alpaca being half and half.
Yeah. Carol did several sweaters where she took alpaca and another fingering weight and held them together, and fantastic.
And the more it is, I don't know about the Jamesons, but I think a lot of that of like the stuff from those mills is not superwash, and that has even more structural integrity to it, in my opinion. So if you're holding a hardy wool with the alpaca, again, theoretical knitting should be fine.
Should be fine.
Absolutely fine. You might even have better stitch definition, but you'll have the added softness of the alpaca. I think that's lovely. And if you have different colors, you'll get a marled effect, and that could be really pretty.
And I found, like, when I took Walkabout, which is a hearty Shetland wool,
hardy breed of sheep,
and I mixed a mohair with it, it softened it so much that I could wear it on the underside of my arms without scratch.
Shetland is a scratchy wool, compared to like merino.
So the alpaca will probably do the same thing and just
will soften it up, so you'll have structure and softness. It won't be as soft as 100% alpaca, but yes, if you hold it with something else that has integrity, You should be absolutely fine. Yep. I would do a some kind of swatch. What some people do to test a swatch, because a swatch doesn't have as much weight as a whole sweater, they will actually hang something heavy off of it and see what happens. Not super heavy, right? Not like, 400-pound weight or something. But that you could pull on it with something and see what happens. If you like, the people who like the scientific experiments do a swatch with just alpaca and a swatch with the wool and alpaca held together and hang the same amount of weight on it and see what happens. So
I think we need to save the next question for next week. It's kind of a longer, more in depth, and
okay. So apologies to who's the sign off on that one. Do they have a cute little like moniker?
Let's see.
I love it when people do cute little monikers.
Nope.
Okay. It's someone who said hi, Rebecca and Liz, with lots and lots of exclamation points. And so if that is you, we have your question. We love that you sent it. We want to do it justice. So we're not getting to it today because we don't want to give it short shrift. We want to give it the love and attention it deserves. And right now, with all the moving and painting, we're not providing time for that.
You'll be the first one up next week, so yeah.
And the heads up, so we've got next week, and we should be filming as normal next week. We may or may not have sit and stitch. It depends on, like, if we've done enough stuff outside of the shop, maybe we'll be able to take a break and do sit and stitch next week on Tuesday and Friday, but stay tuned. And then the week we're at the shop, I don't necessarily have plans. Like, we are still collaborating on what's going to happen with outside
the week
events.
we're moving.
The week we're moving, I wasn't planning on doing.
We're gonna cancel that.
We're gonna let's cancel that, and that's okay.
It's just easier.
Yeah, our other plan B would have been like trying to do it from the shop with someone else in charge, and that's just a hot mess. Could be fun, could be crazy. But in order for us to have the shop back open on November 7th, we're probably going to be putting in 10 to 12-hour days, and it's going to be insane. And so we'll keep you posted on that, though.
We need to get the painting done tonight and tomorrow, so we have a week off before the move.
Of painting.
There's
other things to do. She knows this.
I do.
Talk in detail about this.
I do. So, we're gonna die.
Okay.
But it'll be a fun death.
We'll go out doing what we love. So, thank you all who have donated. It's not necessary to donate to our moving funds, but we really appreciate people who are able to or who want to or, those kind of things. It's helped us pay for paint. It's helped us pay for a new sign. I dropped the money on that yesterday. It's going to be awesome. It's going to say Sun Dragon Yarn Shop. Even though we're Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, what draws people in from the street is going to have my dragon and say Sun Dragon Yarn Shop, because that's mainly what we are. And I'm really happy with that. It's going to be exciting. And the money donated is helping us pay for movers. It's helping us survive the week that we're shut down and don't have much cash flow going on. We might have some people buying stuff online, but we won't be able to fill those orders for a little bit. And yeah, life continues even though we're shut down. So we appreciate it. We appreciate all of y'all who are just watching and liking and letting us know that this isn't going into a big black void. It's fun.
Subscribe, ring the bell, comment, all the fun stuff.
Subscribing is free. If you haven't done it yet, we highly recommend it because those numbers help our algorithms and all kinds of crazy stuff and lets more people discover us, which is really cool.
And when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we will have
I think we're planning a sale and we're at 1735 right now or something close to that. So, that's less than 300 away. That's not bad. So we'll just have sales on top of each other, depending what happens.
If you have a question for next week, email Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
You're keeping us on track. I'm just like, hi.
It's okay.
And SAF is this weekend.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I pre-medicated because,
That's ibuprofen or Tylenol, by the way. SAF is Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. So if you are in town for that, we do not have a booth at that, but because we need both of us here. Yesterday was crazy, and it's not even officially the weekend yet. But come by and visit us. We are like a half an hour, plus, just a little plus maybe, from the fairgrounds where the the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair is held. We will be there on Sunday when the shop is closed. We may not be there for long. I'll be there with my parents. If you see us, say hi. But we are here on today is Thursday, right? Today, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, we'll see y'all.
Bye.
I don't have anything else. I'm done. I'm spent. But we love you. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.